Welcome back.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, once again, Sigil, the City of Doors. Welcome back, everybody. Wow, I know we left off at a little exciting point last session. I believe there was
Quite the exciting point.
a lot of fire, some screaming, but they go hand in hand. Prem, I know you're itching to get your recap in.
Oh yes, let us explain how we got to that point, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary pals. Alright, so as the crew was investigating in the summoning room, Lieutenant Darvold caught Draken's attention after Watts perked up, who motioned him to follow. Draken alerted the ghost, and the two went into the music room after him, where Darvold promptly attacked them. They managed to incapacitate him and alert the other members of the manor, leading to questioning on both sides. Lady Alora and Madame Vila didn't exactly believe that Darvold would attack anyone out of the blue like that, and his own recollection of the intervening moments between walking through the conservatory and this moment of questioning proved to be a gap in his memory. After the three stormed off to supposedly sit in the dining room, the crew began doggedly chasing Darvold around the first floor, always disappearing before anyone could catch him. Draken's mind spike on him revealed that he was in the dining room the entire time and hadn't moved, leading them to believe that these were just a series of illusions, much like Ambonelli's ghost. Jimmy and the ghost, following Draken's advice, went to see if they were actually in the dining room, and they were. Jimmy tried to persuade them of what was going on, that someone or something was walking around in Darvold's face, and after a personal spat between Vila and the ghost, everyone sat down to a meal and slept for the evening on Tavarius's invitation. As Jimmy patrolled the rooms in the night, he saw that a skin kite had wrapped itself around Draken and was attempting to rip his skin off. Others were awakened from their slumber and managed to kill it before any real harm came of the situation. The crew awoke the next morning to inform the others in the house of the skin kite, and then they realized they hadn't seen Marion in a long time. While the others went off to search for her, Draken went alone to the summoning room to see if anything had changed. As Jimmy and the ghost went to go fetch Draken before they all went upstairs, Draken attacked them. What was weirder, he was eerily silent, something very out of character for Golden Boy. A giant spectral hand managed to restrain Draken and cut him off from a lot of his spellcasting, though he still managed to set the room on fire. And that is where our session picks up.
Yes, and here, let me add some effects there for you guys.
Ah, yes, this is accurate.
All right. So, that was very accurate. Draken out of the blue attacking everyone, as he's prone to do.
Maybe.
Only when prompted.
Only when prompted, yes. He's just a chaotic golden ball of destruction. But we were already in initiative, so if you guys like, we can dive right back in. Looks like we landed on Watts.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, all the action is in the room up there. And I believe Istu and Irene can definitely hear what's going on, especially at this point in fire. So Watts will run towards the danger, bringing us to Jimmy.
Okay. Just checking my inventory for something real fast. I'm sure I got something that'll do it.
Is it the Hand of Vecna?
Nah. Nah, it ain't.
I was gonna say I don't remember slipping that in there.
No, that would probably do the trick, quite frankly.
Do a lot of tricks.
Yeah. Dangerous party favor, that.
Oh yeah.
On
No,
the other hand, Draken does have the eye patch, and who knows what's underneath it.
This is also true.
gets more suspicious by the day, this guy.
He's actually the BBEG the whole time.
Entirely possible. So, what I have is a short length of rope, and what I'd like to do is get up behind Draken, who's fully immobilized, and use the rope as a gag to prevent him from speaking easily.
Okay.
Hoping to cut off his verbal components and maybe run him out of magic entirely while we reposition him.
All right. So I'm going to assume that Draken is facing out towards the room.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true.
Okay.
That sounds right.
We'll just say kind of this direction for now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a bookshelf right here on this side, and a large desk set into the wall here. I think we've discussed that.
Yeah.
I want to know if you're coming around in front of him, trying to get around behind him, climbing up on the desk.
Is this also at desk level? This one here to his side?
That one is a bookshelf.
That one's a bookshelf.
Yeah.
I'll hop up behind him on the desk. I can sit on the desk and be at about the right height, I think. The Draken's pretty tall. Jimmy's kind of not.
Yeah.
A little elevation probably do me good.
All right.
There's a foot in height difference between the two.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you, are you slipping around behind him or?
Yeah, I'm gonna slip around behind him.
Okay. You should be able to squeeze through.
Yeah.
All right. Goodness. We'll just consider this a grapple.
He's already grappled.
At advantage. Well, it's very specific. It's like a called shot. You're trying to get a rope in his mouth. Like he still
Alright,
can
fair
move
enough.
his head. So just give me a grapple.
Alright, I will take my advantage grapple. Hey.
That's pretty good. Okay. So you managed to get a rope in his mouth.
Alright, after doing this, I say to the ghost, let's walk the big guy out of here.
That's the plan, Jimmy.
And I will... Can I prepare to move along with him since I haven't really used my movement?
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, then that's my turn.
All right. Well, we gotta talk to her about getting into voice here.
Yeah, she's got it at least here. One sec. Yeah, you got it, you got it.
Probably wrapping up some stuff with her Conan group.
Probably. Okay. All right. That should work. So... Oh wait, she's typing. Let's see what she's got. The fuck is this? The room is on fire. We should... There she is.
Sorry.
That's all right. Welcome. So the room is on fire. We should point that out. Where you're coming around, like you're kind of catching up with Watts as she's coming around the bend. You guys will see the ghost standing in the doorway, fire in the room beyond, in the summoning room there. You hear Jimmy, shout out, "Well, let's walk the old boy out," But that does bring us to the ghost.
All right, so she is going to, first off, let me measure this out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so Bigby's hand can be moved 60 feet as a bonus action. So she is going to move Draken to in between the bookshelves to cut off line of sight from her and Jimmy and the rest. So she's going to move Draken to right here where that arrow is pointing at.
It'll cut off line of sight from everybody but Jimmy, because Jimmy's walking with him to keep the gag on.
Okay.
It's not your turn, though.
I prepared my movement in
He
advance.
He did.
Oh, okay.
He held his movement action. Okay, so
Well, she'll still do that.
60 feet. You said?
Yeah, up to 60 feet. She's just going to put Draken between the bookshelves to cut off line of sight from everyone else.
Does he save on your round or his? Or does he get another save? I can't remember.
He's got to break the grapple, I think, rather than save. So it's just a regular grapple save.
So on his turn.
Well, I think when I get tried to move, I can try to contest it. And
Here, let me pull it up real quick.
Let's see, I scrolled up to it. No, I think it's just...
Those
the
big-
hand attempts to push a creature within 5 feet in the direction you choose. Make a check with the hand strength contested by the strength of the target.
I think that's when you have it not grappled.
Yeah, grasping hand is currently what I'm doing with it right now. And Draken is currently in the hand, so you have to contest the grapple. But the scroll up, it says in just the basic spells description, you can move the hand up to 60 feet on subsequent turns.
Yeah, and its carrying capacity is definitely enough for Draken in his inventory. I think it's like, what, 600 pounds or something?
But I think that's if you
Actually,
use...
the movement, from what I'm reading here, is only up until you grab something. Once it's grasped, I don't see anything about being able to move it from there. It says when you cast the spell as a bonus action on your subsequent turns, you can move the hand up to 60 feet and then cause one of the following effects. So it's a little gray area, almost. It doesn't say like you can move it after, clenched, forceful grasping or interposing has been done. Really. I
don't see why you couldn't move it with something in its hands, because it's like after you cast a spell, you can move it up to 60 feet and then cause one of the effects with it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking the ability to cause the effect versus the ability to move a struggling, slightly larger than humanoid figure within the hand, concentration-wise. But we're gonna let it go. Well, I'm not gonna push that one. They probably could have worded that a little bit better, but we'll cut
Yeah,
it
there's
go.
a lot of wonky wording in some of these spell descriptions.
So let's see, to about here, was it? Or
Here.
right there.
Wherever my arrow's pointing.
All right, and Jimmy, you're right with him.
I would be, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so then she'll move herself to be on the other side of the bookshelf, and let me see. Yeah, okay, I'm good. The dynamic lighting's kind of messing with me a bit here, even though I think she'd be able to see in this situation with the fire. It's just all black on my screen right now, but
Is it all black?
well, not all black, but it's just kind of like the bookshelves and the dynamic lighting. The way that it is, I can't see some of the squares on the map right now.
Yeah, well, it is supposed to be dark in here. I will say that.
But the adjacent room is on fire.
This is true. Here, I'll do this for now. So, are you doing anything other than moving?
I think she will throw a vicious mockery at Draken because she has an idea of what's going on, so don't want to hurt Draken, but, you know, if we can break what's going on with him, then let's do it.
Can you see a little bit now?
A little bit. I still can't see, like, all of the squares. But...
Well, this is the light source coming from the room now.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, are you squeezing him?
No, she's casting Vicious Mockery.
Okay. On top of the concentration.
Yeah, but I think Vicious Mockery is one and done, so...
Okay. Alright.
And I failed, so I took damage.
Yes, you did.
Let me mark those tiny little hit, and then bear with me for a second.
As we are coming into your turn.
I need to check on something.
He's up to something. I can feel it.
Hey, Church,
Yes.
Does that 20 break it?
The grapple.
Because I took damage.
This is true. I believe a 20 will break it. It's a... Let's see... Use the hand's strength score. What is the hand's strength score?
It is a 26.
Yeah.
26? Yeah, there it is.
But if he's trying to break the grapple, then he needs to make an opposed strength check. I think the wisdom save is for something else. Wink, wink.
That boy, he trying to
True.
break mind control.
Is that what you're going for?
Yes, I am. I am seeing if I snapped out of something.
Ah, see, now that's a different matter altogether.
Nice.
Yes. Because I'm not sure.
He's just, here's how his willpower is feeling right now. What's that good for?
Let's see here. Oh gosh, no! Like this is your life now. No, just messing.
Alrighty. Well, I got a player's handbook within arm's reach. Let's see what new player I make.
No, let's see here. Yeah. Yeah. You start shaking off the fuzz. You're coming to. You're very disoriented. You're hurt. You're grappled, and you smell fire. Kind of faint memories starting to slowly come back. What all's happened?
Very lightly injured by Draken standards.
Yeah, nothing you're not used to there.
Small headache.
I think we know what happened, possibly to Duvall.
Do you
Let me
mumble this
go.
from around the?
I
The
do.
restraint.
So you're
Yes, and that's
gagged and restrained, trying to let them know that you're coming back into your own head.
that is what I say.
All right.
What you
so
just heard.
Only one that can see you
Is
you
Jimmy.
is Jimmy. So Jimmy, give me an insight check.
Sure, I love those.
Yeah, Jimmy, you're You see like the shine come back in his eye. You kind of like, oh no.
I start to pull the rope out. I say, was that a spell or was that some words?
I think we know what happened to Duvall. I think I need to put a fire out now, though.
Yeah, if you can. Here, one sec. I pull the
All
rope
right.
out. I jump down from my perch on the lowest shelf of the bookshelf that I was keeping to stay up there. I call around the corner. Hey, Ghost, he's out of it. He's out of it.
knew
You put
it.
him down.
I knew it! And she drops a hand.
Alright. Draken lands on a little bit of a crumple at his feet. Do you guys want to continue initiative or go into free?
Free.
I'll go into free.
Okay.
Free.
So we'll
I wanna-
Okay.
See if
Watts is
would
gonna
be a
run in and start putting out fires.
yeah. I can put out a small campfire. I'm gonna press the digitation that.
This is a little more than a small campfire at this point.
Ren will throw in her own prestidigitation and help.
Okay.
So, and it's a cantrip, so you can fire it off for free. So
Yeah.
it's just like bam, 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 bam.
Okay. Yeah. So
From the two of them.
working together, you managed to get the fire out. We'll get rid of the light. You managed to get the light out. It's smoky. Your eyes are stinging. Your clothes are kind of covered in soot by the time you're done. There's some really nasty smells coming out of this room from things that were touched by fire that are unnatural or otherworldly. Some strange sounds coming from amongst some of the ash and burnt segments of the room.
Is that talking book still here?
Nobody took it.
No.
Jimmy will walk in. Do, do, do. Hey, you burnt up?
Any excuse to take me out of this room, I swear.
I was just checking on you.
Would you like to stay here then?
I think he's made himself pretty clear on that front.
Yep. But
All right.
would you like
So-
to stay here
So-
then?
So
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
So,
this doesn't happen often, but I'm sorry.
apology accepted, Draken. And I think we're aware from both Draken and myself, we guessed it, there is mind control at work here.
Yes.
We don't
the other hand-
need to be splitting up.
My ring is crap. I'm quite upset by that.
Golden Boy, I think I might know of a staff that'll serve you better for protecting you against mind control. I had to get you one of those. I should have gone with you that day whenever you went shopping, but I was busy.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
What were you doing when you got zapped, buddy?
I was coming to check on the room,
Okay.
and then something tagged me, and I just wanted to fight. I wanted to fight whoever I came across. Thankfully, it was you all. Not because I wanted to hurt you, but because
It's more than 2 rounds with you?
We know you.
probably would have taken it. It would have been worse if I started attacking other people.
Jimmy looks back at the scorch mark in the floor, and he says, yeah, I'm not sure any of them were dodging that.
It's fine. This is fine.
That's
Bryn's,
right. I
like,
think I used
looking
that on
at-
Duvall too.
Bryn's looking at her own burned flesh, and I think she's going to cast a healing spell on herself.
Yeah. Yeah. Watts will kind of help clear up the damage. You should be able to, between the two of you, soothe your woes. I don't think anybody got hurt terribly bad.
I don't know, Bryn's sitting at 62 out of 87, but she restored 19 of her own HP.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Big boost.
Like I said, I think between the two of you, you could probably heal up. We'll let that go. So you're standing in this smoky, soot-covered room now. Like I said, you feel like the fire may have breached a few things that probably shouldn't have been breached. You don't feel terribly safe in this room at the moment.
Look down at the summoning circle.
Yeah, there's parts of it that are smeared and broken now.
I heard it's bad when that happens. He's pointing down.
We shouldn't be in here anymore. Let us walk away.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Let's
We
put
need
the
to
other
be
people
finding
between
Marion
us and that.
anyways.
So everybody's strolling out. I'll let you maneuver Watts for us, but Watts is coming with.
Okay. Everybody.
We need to be finding Marion anyways. I have strong suspicions about her.
Yeah, it's been missing a little bit.
And consider this, Jimmy. Whenever we saw the illusion of Gambinelli's ghost, at that point, the only person who saw me cast, let alone even knew I was in the house, was Marion. And the illusion of Gambinelli's ghost did point at me and call me a charlatan and a fake, which garnered raised eyebrows from the both of us. I have very heavy suspicions about Marion.
Yeah, that does make good sense. Maybe you're cut out for this line of work, Ghost. I don't know. Something about it. Ishtu! Where'd Ishtu go?
She's still back at the room.
They're still
Oh
back in
yeah,
the room.
right. Whoops. Supposed to be following these guys, I guess.
Yeah.
Filthy warm
Alright.
bloods.
Casually saunters out.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't happen to be immune to mind control, do you?
This dude looks at Jimmy for a long second with an incredulous expression.
I pal
Hey.
with some strange people.
How do you think I got here? Hello?
Your feet? Thought you walked.
God. Oh, okay. All right.
Am I
Well,
misunderstanding? Is there something I missed? They walked, right? They walked with us.
Bruh. All right. Let me just check my my notes here to see if I've been given immunity to something that was definitely a very big aspect of my presence here.
So,
You never told us that, by the way. So you
That's-
say that out loud, and now Jimmy has suspicions.
Not like I gave you a letter or anything.
Magic resistance, advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects.
But that doesn't say mind control, though, does it? Like,
Well, mind control's a magical effect, but that's not immunity.
and it's resistance, which can still be. No?
Immunity to poison, which is has been nerfed in Mordekainen's Monsters of the Multiverse.
I'm not gonna say no to that. I do well, but. Yeah.
That's good, but try not to wander off.
Uh-huh.
Quick stop in. Jimmy's strolling out to the people who should still ideally be in the dining room.
Oh yeah, okay, we're going that way now. Alright.
it does appear that they are. There's a
Flings
list of
open the
areas.
door. Hey, Schmucks, how's it going?
Rude.
Sorry, I'm in a bad mood now. My friend's been mind controlled. Also, whoever's doing this can control minds. Keep an eye out. Look at each other. Look real close at each other.
Well, we all know each other.
Good. That'll help you. Anyways, we're off to find the maid. Catch you later. Hey, Tavarius, where Marion sleep?
Upstairs?
Which room upstairs, buddy? Which room?
Usually with the boss.
Ah, you don't say. All right. Don't mind that smell of smoke. I'm sure nothing important burned except for that summoning sigil.
Are you headed upstairs?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay. Well, let me just save you a little trouble and swap you over. Boom.
Oh.
Here we are. Oof. And we'll,
We're all in, like, the entry hallway.
yeah. Oh, well, you're with Tiberius. There. Leave, yeah, okay.
If she normally sleeps with Gambinelli, we were all in Gambinelli's old room.
Wasn't feeling too restful. Jimmy's just busting down doors looking for her. Guest bedroom. Alright, nothing there. Bathroom.
So
That's right.
as you're stomping around, kicking doors open, Marion actually runs in from downstairs. What the bleeding hell are you doing?
Looking for you. Where you been?
Working.
Can I insight check that?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
As always, I will.
Roll a deception even if it's unnecessary. Perfectly okay.
She is absolutely lying. You can see it in her face. She's nervous. Actually, she's sweating a little.
Yeah. About that.
About what?
Where were you sleeping last night?
Why do you want to know where I was sleeping? That's a little rude.
I want to know if you were sleeping, honestly.
Well, I mean, I'm an elf.
I've met a few. You meditate.
I mean, if I got to.
Jimmy's looking her in the face, still trying to continue detecting dodges.
The ghost is going to look over at Watts and give her a bit of a nod, sort of like, you know, telling her, hey, switch on the zone of truth. Just like that look, you know?
Zone of truth. Okay, let me see here. You just pull up the spell real quick, hang on. That's right, charisma save, 15-foot sphere. Let me put the aura on her real quick here. Oops. Oh my god. I will get this. I will get this.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Okay. 15 foot. There we go. Which will catch everyone in the area. Good. So, let me give her save here. Doing this so you can't see her pluses.
Perfectly reasonable.
Okay. What are you asking? Now that you had the zone is as active.
I'll first continue my line of questioning here, because I don't know for sure if this has happened. I wasn't looking. I don't know Zone of Truth happened. Do I know Zone of Truth happened?
I think we would, because like literally everyone has to make charisma saves, so we would know that, you know, we're in it.
Shall I make a charisma save?
If you want to tell a lie.
Nah, fair enough.
At least in Watts's perception, because only like Watts is going to know if, you know, we made the save or if we didn't make the save. So it's just like, you know, she would know if Marion made that save and know is able to tell lies.
Are you gonna ask her? I should say. I know Watts isn't big on volunteering information generally.
Bryn will whisper, like lean in and whisper, like if she can tell lies. Ask her that.
She looks at you and just kind of like nods.
Bryn nods in response, and she is going to do something of her own. She's going to whip out a copper, flip it, and say, a copper for your thoughts, Marion. We just want to know where you were the previous evening, because we are doing a little survey of accountability to ensure everyone in the manor was okay. So she has got detect thoughts running, and as long as she does not try and pry deeper for information, she can read Marion's surface thoughts without her knowing or requiring a wisdom save out of her.
Interesting. Okay. Let me see here. Jeez.
While you're reading, I'm also casting a spell on myself.
Oh my god. This is an arcane spell, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that both counts. Okay, so let's Intellect Fortress.
I don't like this. I took this spell for a reason. Get the hell out of my head.
Okay. So Ghost, she looks at you and like narrows her eyes accusingly. And you can just feel her immediately shut down. Like she's trying to force you out.
I mean, she doesn't need a wisdom save if, like, you know.
Well, I rolled to see if she figured out what spell you were using, and she did.
Ah.
So she kind of knows what you're up to. So that's what I mean. Like she's shutting down.
VSM, a copper piece. That's pretty specific, yeah.
That was a good one, though. That was a really good description. But yeah, she's looking at you all suspiciously at this point, and kind of takes a step back and kind of brings her hands up in front of her, like defensively. What are you doing? What is this? Some type of shakedown?
The contents of your pockets are insufficient for me to go for a shakedown. Nah, I'm suspicious of you.
Why?
Various reasons that I'm not gonna tell you in case for some unimaginable reason this ever goes to court.
Court. Yeah.
Well, I guess there's only one court, technically.
How about you just clear on out, leave me be, and I'll go about my business, and you can do whatever it is you do for the little slimy imp there.
I really hate to be the one to tell you, this is what I do for the imp.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to include me.
Oh, I'm almost sad I'm getting out of the business. This part is exciting.
So, are you threatening me?
Am I? You see the guy behind me, right? You see him? He is a walking threat. He's a walking threat to everybody in this house, me included.
Love you, Jimmy.
Yeah, I saw the damage downstairs. Nice one.
All right. So Jimmy's nobody's fool. We put out that fire before anybody came in. He leans over a little bit. You shouldn't have known that.
I'm the maid, of course I know that.
Maid don't know who starts fires unless they walk in and see it happening, or they were a part of it happening in the first place. Maybe I lit that fire. Huh?
Also,
roll
it's not that
intimidation.
long ago.
Slight objection. I mean, arson investigators exist for a reason because you can usually tell who started.
That's a maid.
I mean, still,
That's a maid and this is Sigil.
investigations can still yield some process of elimination.
Occam's razor dictates that this is a murderer and not a arson investigator and pioneer of the science.
No, I like this. Keep going.
I don't care to. I don't care to at all.
Anyways, I say this this statement very threateningly in the manner of 22 intimidation.
Trying to intimidate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm using the trick. I'm using the Columbo style. One more thing. Which I always felt is incredibly intimidating. You say it pleasantly, but they still start to sweat.
Oh. She actually stands up. Like a little straighter. Eyeballing you. Like actually kind of moving in, getting in your face a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
She says, choose your next words carefully.
I'd like you to come downstairs to the table with me so we can all have a chat.
I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Big hand, Jimmy says over his shoulder.
We going for that now. Out of character.
Are you
Sure.
Are you attacking?
Well, I mean, we're gonna do this. I'll cast it behind her and grab her.
What level spell is that?
5th.
Somebody's got a pocket full of counter spells.
I got a pocket full of counter spells.
Let's see. Let's make that roll. Yep. She counters it.
I would like to counterspell the counterspell.
Fourth dimensional chess has begun.
Side effect of multiple spellcasters.
Well, here's the question. Can you counterspell a counterspell? It's
That's a
instant.
good ass question.
It's an instant reaction, is why I ask. So, can you move that fast with a spell is the main thing.
Well, the counterspell to the counterspell is also instant.
Well, this is
Dex
true.
check?
No, you're gonna have to roll to counter it, though. It was cast at 6th level.
Cast an embiggened counterspell.
Yeah. Yeah, but go ahead.
Big money, no whammies.
Give me that D20.
Nat 20, come on. Draken.
He's about due for a 1. Give me that D20, Draken.
At 20, come on. Big money, no whammies.
Did he meet it?
It's cast at 6th level. 10 plus 6. Meet or beat.
There we
Be
go.
in there.
Well, I cast it at 5th level, so
No,
was
her spell was 6th level. It sets the DC.
okay. So then, if it was 6th level, I made it.
Yep. So you countered.
But we only get one reaction, so she cannot counter my counter.
So I'm gonna let this
Unless
go.
there's another spell
We
caster.
really do need to look this one up though, because counterspell is gonna get really wonky.
I did. I have looked it up while we're sitting here. The sage advice on the matter appears to be that you can.
Yeah.
But it's also something that usually occurs within, initiative order, which
This is
makes
true.
the whole thing make a bit more sense.
So she does not have a reaction available. So I guess the initial spell would go off. Right?
Yep.
Since we're doing this all out of initiative, however, I do have a bonus action for her.
That hand is... I did cast that hand behind her and want to use Grasping Hand to grab her, by the way.
Oh, no. We have reinvented the stack. We have like a stack of objects attempting to execute here. This is not good. We are deep in the weeds.
She is actually going to Misty Step away as a bonus action. Unless your hand can stop that.
Hand cannot stop that.
Okay, so she will Misty Step away. Let me get the distance here.
30 feet.
Perfect.
If she's gonna do that, Bryn will Misty Step after her.
Blip.
We should go into initiative.
Yes. We
Sure,
really
let's go
should.
into initiative.
We really should. I will say this though. As she's Misty stepping away and that really just rapid fire blam 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 of magic that just went off.
Mhm.
Her disguise dropped.
Hey!
Oh!
Yes.
She could no longer concentrate on it and do all this. Marion became Lady Allura.
Oh, shit.
Illusionists.
So, let me swap that out. Alright. And yes, let us get that initiative order. Remember to click your token first. Oh, good honor. And where is she? Watts. There it is, okay. Did I get her? Yeah, good. Is that everybody?
Looks like it.
Which puts her at the leader of the pack. Okay. That works for me.
Yeah, you love that happening.
That works for me. She steps into the... Oh no, is this still locked?
Ha!
Or was it unlocked?
No, it was unlocked. In fact, we pried the doors off of it.
That's right. So she jumps into the armoire. And
Does it work with the doors off? I imagine it does.
Yeah, she poofs.
Wait a second. I did say, like, before we went into initiative order that Bryn Misty stepped after her. Do I see this?
I'll allow it, yeah.
Alright, so Bryn is down here, so yeah. She'll yell back, "She went into the armoire!"
God damn it. Call around the corner to Watts. Did she come out the bathtub?
Oh. Watts runs over to the tub and shouts back, "No!"
All right. Time to go downstairs.
All right. You guys are running downstairs?
We don't know where the armoire leads, Jimmy. We still haven't figured that one out. We just know the tub leads into the armoire.
Jimmy's running on intuition here. He suspects that this has gone downstairs and that she's going to try to beat us back to the dining room in order to set the story to her own preference.
So is everyone running downstairs?
No, I'm running through the armoire. Really? Come on. This makes sense.
We couldn't get that to work before.
Yeah.
I am going to try anyway and see.
That sounds like a Draken thing to do.
All right. So Draken charges at the armoire
Yes.
and slams his head into the back of it.
All right.
Oh, God, sodding damn it.
Yeah, Jimmy was running downstairs. He's trying to beat the story to press, as it were.
All
I
right.
was hopeful it was something active I could go through as well.
Tavarius will
There
chase.
was a window.
Tavarius will chase Jimmy.
Yes. Tavarius saw that.
Yes. He did indeed. What's everybody else doing?
I guess, now that Bran watched Draken try it and failed, she's heading downstairs too, after Jimmy.
All right. So Bren runs downstairs. Jimmy's downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Draken.
I will be going downstairs, though slightly behind them,
Everybody,
because obviously I ran into an armoire.
All right. It's your lack of depth perception with the eye patch. Is2, what about you?
Huh?
What are you doing?
Doing?
Mhm.
Nothing, I guess. I mean,
You gonna stay upstairs by yourself?
I'm gonna look very confused and stand still for a second too long. Oh, we're chasing her. Okay, yeah, I guess I'll just take off walking too, you know?
All right. So
I rolled a natural 1 in initiative, so I probably shouldn't even be doing anything this turn.
well, we'll keep that for now as we switch
Nice.
the map.
Mm-hmm.
And we will move you guys up here where the stairs are.
Yeah, that seems right.
With the exception of one person.
Did Watts not follow?
She is not with you when you reach the landing.
Rip.
I'd be pissed if she got the armoire to work.
She may have gotten the bathtub to work.
She sploosh.
Watts has had a bit of a thing for teleporting through water.
True.
This is very true. She does like to take chances.
Anyways, so are we still in initiative here? Because I assume things are happening.
We can make a free action at this point, but we're going to keep the initiative just in case. Okay?
All right. That's fair. So Jimmy is now sprinting for the dining room because he's moving on a certain understanding. I have a question for you, Church.
What's that?
Is this about to be murder on the Orient Express? Did you murder on the Orient Express us?
No.
No, you wouldn't do that.
No. This is a very good classic, though.
It is.
So you're running for the dining room. Tiberius
Running for
is
the dining
chasing.
room.
The door is still open
Shoop.
from earlier. You see Darvold and Vila sitting in there looking very perturbed, surprised, and annoyed at you.
Hey, your friend's a murderer, by the way.
The hell are you talking about?
The lady has been going about in disguise.
What lady? Marion?
Alora.
What about Allura?
Do they seem to be cogent? Like, are they a little bit out of it?
Well, I mean, Darvold's no more than
Drunk.
usual.
Yeah.
Allura dropped her magical disguise as Marion before she disappeared into the armoire and teleported away.
That doesn't make her a murderer.
Why has nobody ever heard of deduction?
Well,
She was acting real peery upstairs as well.
I don't believe it, Madame Vila says. I've known Allura for many, many years.
With the two of you whispering in hushed tones underneath your breath and acting peery yourself, I don't know I quite believe you there. You're either an accomplice, or you're aware of Allura's actions.
Well, I never. How dare you? Take that back.
Can I insight check that reaction?
You're welcome to.
I would love to.
Let me pull her stats up real quick here.
I think she's got some ungodly deception, actually. So 16 probably won't do it.
Madame Vila, where is she? There she is. 16 insight. We'll just give her a straight deception just in case. She does not appear to be lying.
As somebody with some magical talent yourself, Madame Vila, you're aware of Allura's discipline?
Discipline?
Her magical specialty, if you will.
Sir, this is Sigil.
What, is that rude to ask? Am I stepping on caster toes here?
Everybody has some little shtick in their pocket.
I know, and I'm asking you if you know hers.
Of course.
And it is?
She just harmless illusions.
Huh. Illusions. Seems like even you were there for a couple of those. I'll make a persuasion check.
What are you trying to persuade her to do here?
I am planting the seed of doubt. I am causing her to look at ongoing events more suspiciously in light of the idea that, that friend I have is a powerful illusionist, isn't she?
Okay. Go ahead.
23.
Actually found, decided I'm going to start doing these checks a little old school.
Yep. Make it the save versus.
It's 1d20, the wisdom save, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making this sound more complicated than it is. It's just a wisdom save.
Yeah. That's fair. I think the saves are underutilized.
She looks at you kind of a little confused.
I have been bedeviled by illusions, no offense to Varys. This whole damn time, we've had illusory ghosts, we've had illusory Darvolds, we've had real Darvolds as well, but I'm not going to blame Allura on you.
So, as you mention his name, he kind of shakes his head and almost comes out of his stupor a little bit. He looks at you. Hang on. We're gonna do this at disadvantage because he's a little drunk. Oh, jeez.
I am the most persuasive man alive.
Oh no, this is for something different with him.
Oh, something else, gotcha.
He wasn't paying attention. You said his name and it snapped him out. He stands up and puts his hand on his rapier and says, "What did you say about me?"
I said somebody's been using your face to disturb and distract me.
How dare you insult my face?
The face is fine. It's the illusion of it that's a problem.
I will have satisfaction if you go any further with this.
You haven't listened to a word I said.
What?
I like him again. He's funny.
He is pretty good. I will take a moment to calm him. Relax yourself. I have not impugned your honor. In fact, I am clearing your good name.
Oh. I see. Okay. He sits down and kind of looks around for another bottle. Goes quiet again.
I don't think he could stay sober long enough to pull this off anyways.
Madame Vila is still kind of looking at you suspiciously, though.
I know you don't trust Tavarius, but you've known him longer than me, I'm sure. And Tavarius was right there.
Look, I admit what you're saying, if it is true, is suspicious. It does not make her a murderer.
No, the killing people does that, and once we get her, we're gonna ask some questions about it.
Though I do have a question of my own. What sort of magic in particular can you cast, Madame Vila?
How
You did-
rude.
Well, you watched her cast a failed geisha, I think.
Yeah, that's what she was about to bring up. Rude. Yet I did see you attempt to cast a geisha on Istu here.
And
So what can you do?
just minor tricks. I'm no grand wizard. I'm a medium. I talk to the spirits.
You're no grand wizard, yet geisha is a fifth circle spell.
Well, you're quite in the know, aren't you?
See, that's why I keep him around. Yeah. Good luck. Jimmy's stepping out of the way for the magical conversation. He's watching everybody's back.
Well, yes, I would happen to be quite in the know, Madame Vila.
I don't like you very much.
I don't like your arrogant ass either, but if you don't want to be convicted for an accomplice to murder, then you can pike it and cooperate with us. Now, what sort of magic do you cast?
I will keep that to myself. But let's just say the spirits have told me a thing or two about you.
Fascinating. You say you keep it to yourself, but you didn't keep that gauge to yourself.
It needed to be done.
Not necessarily. You could have just told Istu that you didn't appreciate it and asked them to stop.
Yeah, everybody's here is rude. Anyways. Keep an eye out for yourself. I don't know if he's going to be too much help, but we're looking for Alora. If she comes back, be a little suspicious. For me.
So, no sooner does that final word drop when you say "for me," than you hear a blood-curdling scream. From somewhere in this direction.
Tire of people.
Oh, God.
He runs.
Okay, you're in the music
Bryn
room.
runs with him.
Draken, you're gonna want to shift as well.
I'm over here too. Because there is the potential that this is someone I like, and I'm gonna have to kill people.
Where are you running? Into the... You're
in the direction of the scream. Would you like me to roll to understand the direction?
They came from the garden.
Alright, that's where I'm going.
Alright. As you bust into the garden, you see Lady Allura sprawled out with her throat slashed in front of the statue. She is no longer breathing.
All right, Bryn is going to cast a quick cure wounds on her, real quick. Like, quick.
Okay.
Let's see if we can, like, do a, like, last-minute stitch up of that,
It almost takes hold, but she's too far gone.
God damn it. Alright, so now...
She's got a head. You could ask her.
We do have a head, Honor, that is right. Would you want to do that, everyone? She's asking this of Jimmy and Draken.
I say yes. I say ask the dead person.
Jimmy says, "Don't worry, I got this one. I've been practicing." He walks up beside the corpse, kneels down, and says, "Hey!" He does that.
Oh, this is just basically a natural
Speak with
ability.
dead of its own.
Okay.
I do actually have speak with dead.
All right. So the body kind of convulses a couple times and twitches. A couple spurts of old blood spray out a little. And her head snaps to, and her eyes just slowly roll and kind of focus in on Jimmy.
Bryn looks at Jimmy, like, with such pride in her eyes right now.
Are you the corpse of Lady Allura?
Kind of haggard, breathless, scratchy tone comes out from between her lips. Do I look like Tavarius to you?
I grow tired of illusions. You'll understand, I'm sure.
Is that your second question?
No, that was a statement.
I'm sure you'll understand. Yeah, no, I understand. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Who killed you?
I didn't see them.
Why were you lying to us?
I didn't lie to you.
Why were you disguised as Marion?
Because I always was Marion.
Yeah, I kind of figured, actually. He looks to the side.
I think you got one more question.
Yeah, he's looking back at the party in case anybody's got a real good one.
You could ask her if she heard anything before she died.
If she knew about the final project, that special thing he was working on.
I like that one. I like that one. Turns back to her. What was Gambinelli working on before he died?
It was a secret. He never told anyone.
Even you?
With that, she just kind of smiles at you, and the spirit begins to fade.
Hate this place. Hate this place. Walking off.
Tavarius actually looks a little shook up. Sorry about the train.
Sorry.
He actually looks a little shook up. sitting out here staring at two corpses of people he's known for some time. He looks a little genuinely shocked, a little surprised.
I stop by him. Hate to say you get what you asked for, bud.
I never meant for this.
You locked the door on a house with a murderer in it.
Yeah, but I figured it was one of these goons.
Oh, it probably was.
Well, there's only
But-
two left.
Probably's not going to cut it, I'm afraid.
So what? It was Darvold or Vila?
We were talking with him when this happened, so if it is, then it'd be, I imagine, Vila working through some mind control.
Don't make sense. Don't make no sense at all.
Various, even if Vila isn't a real spirit medium, she is a powerful caster. She attempted to cast a Geish on Ishtu, which is a fifth circle spell. It doesn't make much sense to me either, but that's what we're here for.
Just don't make no sense at all.
No, I agree. Definitely could have gone better.
So he'll follow you, walking along, shaking his head.
Yeah, that's for the best. Let's find Watts.
All right. Where are you headed?
This away. Upstairs is probably a good start.
All right.
He'll duck his head in to look in the summoning room real fast.
No change.
Just peep around the corner. No change. All right, still slightly on fire. Up the stairs we go.
Everybody going up?
Yep.
Up you go.
Is there a Watts?
There is not a Watts.
Ah, shit, I could have asked about the wardrobe. Jimmy a little late to the party on asking spirits questions in a good and reasonable way.
But you did do it with panache.
Steps in the wardrobe just in case.
Still just a cool blank wall.
Probably need to check her pockets.
Yeah, Jimmy. Laura's body might still have the portal key.
Yeah. Looking around, checking this wardrobe. Has it been altered at all? Used? Opened?
Not that you can tell.
Alright. I get so tired of this place.
We headed back down.
If an investigation upstairs has not produced Watts in short order, then yes.
Okay. Down we go once again.
Gonna be doing the walkabout.
Hold on, have we ever looked in this room back here?
Which one?
This one.
Yeah, it's a guest bathroom. We have been in, and Jimmy has poked everything in there to see if it was a portal. Jimmy's poked everything in most of the house to see if it was a portal.
This is accurate. So as you come back down the hall,
Somebody's missing. Where's this to? Jimmy wouldn't have walked down without her.
it looks like she's still in the garden. Nope, there she is.
Alright.
Bren, as you're coming down that main grand hallway, you see Madame Via standing in front of the doors with her hands on her hips, deep in thought, her back's to you.
Where's Jimmy right now?
A room behind you. He was coming along.
Alright.
So he's about at the door between the two.
I assume you saw Vila?
he's seen her from back there yet.
Choop.
She's just standing there with her hands on her hips. Looks like she's in thought, deep in thought or something.
Trying to crack the door.
It might be what she's thinking about, yeah.
So she never even heard what Bryn said there.
No, she's completely lost in her own thoughts. They have no idea what you found yet either.
Bryn looks back over his shoulder at Jimmy. Just sort of shrugs.
Gets here. Peeks through the doorway for Darvold.
He's nodded off in his chair.
Good. That's a decent way to be at the moment. Well, pockets time. He's walking back. He does not proceed on his own. I point this out. Everybody here very suspicious of mind control at the moment.
Everybody going with him?
Yeah, Bryn would absolutely go with them.
Okay.
Yeah, I am not going alone.
Alright.
Alright. Gonna check the pockets.
Alright. So she's wearing an evening gown.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from
Not much in the way of pockets.
Not really. There's a small component pouch kind of tucked into the inner lining of her sash /
I would like to point out that evening gowns would have had pockets, and it went up until like really the end of the Victorian era that we get evening gowns without pockets. So
This one does not actually have pockets. It's very very sheen. Well, like I said, she has a component pouch tucked into the inner lining of her sash / belt. Beyond that, she's nothing on her.
Alright, so, the obvious question, does she have a particular standout decoration, jewelry, or piece of ornamentation that is obviously of, importance and high quality?
Bryn will check the component pouch for spell keys, by the way.
Okay.
Or portal keys.
So, real quick, do any of you have, like, photographic memory or anything like that?
I have a very good memory. But no, I have no feats for photographic memory.
Nothing in the way of feats, but I do remember out of character that when we first saw the armoire, there was a broken snow globe at the front of it, and there was like, pool of water underneath it. I assume that if there was a portal key to the armoire, that it would be something that was in the snow globe, but that's my, just guess.
Not me either.
What's that is to?
I don't have it either.
Okay.
I have lucky, but I don't have that.
Anybody that wants to can make a disadvantaged perception check.
I make those every day.
Only if you want to. Don't feel obligated.
Every single day.
I don't want to force that on anybody, of course. Look at those
Oh.
rolls. Oh my.
That reliable talent is lifting. Reliable talent put the
right?
whole
Should-
team
Uh-huh.
on the back.
Should there be a Lady Allura initiative roll in there?
What? What do you mean?
Oh, never mind.
Are you...
Yeah. Oh, I scrolled up. My bad. I'm working. I have a real mouse today, and it is messing with me. I'm used to using
Oh,
the
no.
laptops.
She's back from the dead.
Yeah, I'm like, am I missing something? Oh crap.
This is gonna take a weird turn. Draken. Let's see. Jimmy, of course.
Oh.
Jimmy, you do notice that it was very small. She had a very tiny pendant that was worn and kind of hung beneath the breast line. What do you call that?
Sternum?
But of the her dress,
Oh.
Ah.
Bodice?
the neckline.
The neckline.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hung below the neckline, so it wasn't out. Usually, it was on a longer chain. It is missing. You notice, just attention to detail.
Peering close, he has been looking closely at everybody here because they all keep getting in his face about things. Can't really blame him in this case. Is all right. Well, process of elimination. Somebody beat us here. We're short one small necklace.
Shall we take our union break real quick?
We can if you guys would like.
Seems a fine time for it.
About time, yeah. All right. We will take a quick break then, and we'll be right back after this imaginary word from our sponsors. Please stay tuned. And we're back. I had to make sure I clicked on the right one. Didn't want to accidentally pull up Karen and confuse everybody.
That would be so.
Alright, so we are back. Everybody's in the garden again. Just very quickly becoming a morgue.
Bit of a shame, really.
There's this too. I was about to do something nasty to you too. I'm joking. So where do we go from here?
From here, we have various troubles.
Tiberius will actually pipe up. Man, Vila's gonna be pissed.
Best
I'd imagine
friend.
So.
Yeah. Do we know who did it? Any ideas?
Well, she didn't.
She was really our biggest lead at this point, but obviously. And Bryn just gestures to her body.
Now we're back to the previous working theory, which would be unknown party going around. Maybe under control of somebody here, maybe not. Maybe an independent actor.
You think it's Darvold?
No, I don't think it's Darvold.
Don't let him fool you.
Honestly, if he can fool me that deep in his cuts, he deserves it. The bottles are just stacking up.
He's an old soldier. I've seen him drain quite a bit.
Darvold tried to attack Draken and myself as well, but he was under mind control.
Yeah, probably.
What do we do from here then?
We keep up the game unless you want to unlock that door.
We got bodies stacking like cordwood in here, Jimmy.
We do.
I mean,
Almost makes you think, doesn't it?
I'm not letting them pin this on me.
I had a feeling. No. The game continues. Alright. Dear friends, casters all. What do we have in the bag of tricks? Looking around at the party.
Nobody wants to say.
Well, running out of a lot of energy to do things, but you know the things that I can do, Jimmy. I can speak to the dead. I can summon ghosts, read thoughts.
This is technically my house. If you guys need to rest, I'll put you up.
I'm feeling a little too nervous for that at the moment.
Very early in the day.
Can't say I blame you.
I still have the ability to change my shape. I could perhaps do some sort of dog and try to smell and see if there's a scent trail.
Well, it's not a bad plan. It's an interesting one, at least. Can we...
What ability would you use to become a dog? Just out of
I'd be-
curiosity.
Polymorph?
No, so actually become a dog.
Yes, actually become a dog, like I did the T-Rex.
Don't turn into a T-Rex indoors.
T-Rex
Might
would be
solve
very
one of
good.
our problems.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be good for sleuthing. But yes, a bloodhound, perhaps.
Detective Rex is on the job.
If only I had the hat fitted properly, because then I could have a dinosaur with a hat, and it would be a police hat with a badge.
All I can
That would
think
be
of
very
is
funny.
Kung Fury.
Yes. Big fan of that movie.
Me too.
They're making a sequel.
Thank
Oh
God.
yeah, that's right. I
Yes.
forgot about that.
But before we get too distracted with our fandom, because I will
Yes.
totally go down that road with you. What do you want to do then?
Jimmy's nodding along. He says, "All right, that's not bad. That's on the table. Can we magically track items?" Sounding like a no.
Not I know.
I can protect more people with what I used earlier
Oh, that
to
is
ward my mind, because I'm gonna try to keep that up for now.
Are you sure you can actually do that though? Because it looks like it's concentration.
It is concentration, but it's concentration on higher levels, giving multiple people. You can do it for up to an hour.
Neat.
As you're discussing,
Yes.
almost fairly loudly, Darvold and Vila bust in to the cloakroom, the mudroom, there beyond the garden, and stop short of the door.
Mm-hmm.
Vila, tears streaming down her face already.
Mhm.
Looks past you, sees Allura laying on the ground. In her left hand is slightly larger than a fist-sized crystal orb. Darvold looks shocked, even through the stupor. One hand on his rapier. And you hear Vila just hiss at you, angrily. What have you done?
What? You were with us when you heard the scream, woman.
You never liked her.
No, I didn't like any of you, except him, maybe.
How do we know you haven't staged this with Tavarius?
Jimmy throws up his hands. I am deeply tired of all of you. You're willfully getting yourselves killed to keep your petty little secrets.
Everything was fine until you got here.
There was a dead man before I got here.
One.
It still counts.
Hang on. She thinks you're suspect. She's gonna make an inside check here.
Sure.
24.
Like 24, given that I am not attempting to deceive, is sufficient to tell that I am simply a frustrated investigator who's trying to make this his last day on the job.
I think you're being played by Tavarius. I think he's behind this.
Honestly, I had a suspicion myself, but nah. Nah, too obvious. I think he's pretty much on the up and up.
You've been fighting amongst yourselves. Everywhere you go, people end up dead.
That's been true for longer than you've known me.
They're both bristling at you right now.
Yes, but she doesn't think I did it.
Not willingly.
Not willingly, at least. Alright. We're gonna see if we can unruffle at least a feather.
Okay. I love how everybody else went completely quiet. You deal with this, Jimmy.
Somehow I still have to be the front man. When people are mad at us, I'm the front man. When people are really mad at us, Draken's the front man.
I lit the house on fire. I'm kind of not talking at the moment until I need to.
Yeah.
Fair.
Bren has nothing to say. Jimmy kind of said everything that she would, so.
Also,
Lifts
I'm
the
looking
hat
at
off his
animals.
head, brushes his hair back, puts the hat back on. I have been trying since I showed up here. And I have been fought every single step of the way. I'd have walked out if you hadn't locked the door. You have this chance to save your lives. Assuming neither of you did it, in which case the other one of you has one chance to save your life. Help me out, and help yourselves out, and we all get out of this.
I think that's a persuasion roll from Jimmy.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
probably is.
Get the
Sounds good.
big numbers.
Let's see what you got.
Numbers.
23.
I hit a luck point, maybe.
You know what? I would like to bring back something we haven't done in a while.
Oh,
I am bringing back Shadow Puppet.
Oh no.
Because it just needs to be done. This is our last case like this. We're bringing out the Shadow Puppet.
So the two of them calm down a little bit. I will say. You could tell Vila does not trust any of you.
Who would?
She's deep down, I think you can see it on her face. She's convinced that even if you're not willingly doing this, you're being puppeted. Which of course makes her really suspect the little imp Tavarius.
Mm-hmm.
Darvold is drunk and aggravated.
Mm.
He doesn't want to be here. He's tired of the game. Tired of the noise. He's really pissed off because he liked Deloro.
Yeah.
Both of them look like they're ready to just pop at any minute.
Mm-hmm.
Tensions are getting a little drawn. But for the moment, you've calmed them down.
It's a start. One feather unruffled.
One feather.
Jimmy's going into honest, let's get down to business mode here, talking to them. The last people that were close to Gambinelli are now standing here in this room. Do either of you know what he was up to before all this started?
He didn't share stuff like that. If anyone knew, Tavarius would. Gambinelli's familiar.
I have it on his word that he ain't got a clue.
You have it on an imp's word.
Put it like this. I have it on his word and my ability to tell if people are lying.
He's an imp.
I don't think they've come up with an imp yet that can get past me.
Well, we'll see when it's all said and done, won't we?
Yeah. But you're pretty sharp, aren't you? He's looking at Vila in particular here. You're observant. Doesn't matter if Gambinelli would tell you. I imagine you've seen something.
I tried. That room back there was so warded, even this couldn't get past it. She holds up the crystal orb in her hand.
Yeah. Shame we don't have a spare summoner lying around to interpret his work.
So what do we do from here?
Well, if you're wise, you'll stick with us while we go about looking for one of ours has gone missing, and for whatever's doing the murders.
Maybe she's the murderer.
She was with us up until very brief moment ago. So that's accounted for 3 out of 4.
So
We on
she-
3 out of 4 now?
So your friend could have killed Alora.
We find her, we'll ask.
Well, let's see where she is.
By all means, take a look inside your crystal ball and tell me. Save me a step.
She holds up the crystal. Begins to focus. Places her fingers upon her temple. Looks deep inside. You can actually see mists beginning to swirl and twirl around inside the crystal sphere itself. It glows with a slight incandescent hue.
Jimmy can't tell one casting from another. I can only hope that the ghost is watching.
She is. That's why she stepped up.
Let's see. She says, I see your friend. She's somewhere very dark. She can't move. She's bound? Yes, she's bound. She's bound somewhere. Dark and cramped. That's all I can tell.
This sounds like the day that we found her 4 months ago.
Does this happen to your friend often?
Just the twice as far as we can tell. But doesn't sound like much of a murderer. Sounds like more of a captive. Jimmy's looking around. There's too many hidden spaces in this building.
How many crevices or secret doorways are you all aware of?
Secret doors? Never seen one.
Just
This was a wizard.
anything with respect to the layout of the manor where we may start looking for Watts.
Nah, this was a wizard. He'll have set up the wizard shit. It'll be through the teleporters.
You can tell Jimmy's just so over the wizards.
He's gonna blow every bit of cash he makes off of this on, like, an anti-magic field device.
And now we know why Stapleton did.
I'm just gonna write that down. Okay. Yep. Anti-magic field. Jimmy hates wizards. I think I got it.
Says the wizard. Alright, so you guys move out. Darvold and Vila both will tell you, like, they are unaware of any secret compartments or rooms or passages.
Did you know about the teleporters?
Teleporters.
Wardrobe and the bath are both hooked up to some sort of teleportation magic. You step into them, bath comes out in the wardrobe comes out someplace. Alora could get through it. I think her key was stolen from her when she was killed.
I very rarely went upstairs. Darvold even less. At which, on cue, he belches.
Yes. By the way, we did speak to Alora's spirit and did find out from her that she was Marion. They were one and the same.
Oh, I knew that. She was just trying to get her piece of this. And no harm done. The old guy liked her. He wasn't complaining.
Well, little harm done. He thumbs over his shoulder.
Yeah. That was my friend. So, Darvold's gonna go lean up against the wall drunkenly. Vila will go sit beside her friend's body.
Mm.
Kind of a morning vigil for a moment there.
Mm.
What are you guys doing?
Before we leave, Jimmy says, I don't really consider the two of you my responsibility, but stick together, all right?
Tavarius goes, yeah, stick together. Follows along.
All right, so we need to find Watts, and our problem here is that the only real clear secret entrances we have yet to crack successfully. These teleportals will be the death of us. Out of character to the party. Shall we attempt it? Does anybody have a lead that they wish to pursue?
I really have no leads. I think things in the summoning room might be a little sus because, I mean, out of character, it's just like, it seems like everything bad that has gone wrong has been around that room. Could be something in there because I really, like, the one lead that I thought was the murder, like, has been murdered. And pretty much everything that I thought I knew, like, has been blown right out of the water. Like, as much as Bryn in character doesn't like Vila, in character and out of character, I don't think Vila did it. Likewise with Darvold. The only thing that I can think is it's something that's in that summoning room.
If I do change into some sort of animal with the scent ability, I can see if there's some sort of unnatural scent and see if I can track it. Because I lean towards something got summoned. In particular, as I mentioned, I think the last time we played, the creature I'm thinking of would be able to do all this.
Mm-hmm.
Would be Kasha, which I assume would have something that wouldn't smell human if it was, but I don't. Obviously, I'm just guessing.
You know, it's an idea and it's an avenue we haven't tried yet. I encourage you to do this.
Could be just anything. Wearing tons of Axe body spray and you'd never know.
If it's wearing tons of Axe body spray, that makes it very easy to track.
True.
Exactly.
And obviously the killer.
Yes, only a murderer.
And if I've learned anything from watching commercials, there should be a group of the attractive opposite sex around them.
Yes.
It's true. It's true.
Knowledge.
Mass charm.
Knowledge
Opposite sex.
gained.
So what are you doing?
Go for it.
You gonna?
If you guys are, I'm gonna go to, with people coming with me, to the study.
To the study, you say?
Not the special summoning room.
The summoning room.
Yes, I'm going to the summoning room with people.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in the summoning room. And then I am going to use polymorph on myself to turn into a polymorph. And finally,
Polymorph into a polymorph.
I am actually going to, because this just feels like it's more Draken, I am turning into a cat.
A cat.
Yes, because it seems more Draken-esque than a dog.
All right,
A
so
lizard
Drake,
would not be appropriate, yes.
you begin to cast your spell where you're standing there. I need you to make an Arcana check, please.
Ooh, the wards.
See, did we learn something?
What did we learn, children?
It already set to normal. Arcana.
Okay, so you cast the spell. Please
Yes.
roll a D100.
Draken rolling D100s has never gone anything mediocre.
79.
79. No.
All right. Where is it? Here we go. 79. Interesting. So, your spell, you can almost feel the arcane energy just rush out of you as you cast it, almost too early. It soaks into the wards of the room, shuffles, and then blasts back at you and hits you. And suddenly, everyone around you feels the intense urge to approach you.
Well, I'm in 5 feet anyways.
Everybody needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
I mean, I did turn into a cat.
Oh
People
my
want to pet me.
God.
I understand.
Oh no, you're still Draken. You are basically under the effects of a sympathy spell. Everybody wants to be around you and comfort you.
Oh my god.
Hey!
Oh my god.
Look at you
Oh!
guys.
Oh.
Look at you guys. Oh my.
None of them hopefully failed it.
I think Istu has advantage.
Yeah. Do I?
It's
Istu
a
does have
magical
advantage,
effect.
but 25 is pretty strong.
It is.
Yeah.
Just gonna roll
So
one more time, see if I can get it. No.
Taveri, everyone manages to resist it, but Tavarius actually kind of flutters up, sits on your shoulder, leans over and lays his head on top of yours and puts his little arm around you. It's okay, buddy. I'm here.
Oh. This
You're
is high
adorable.
key a little cute.
Oh. I like this. I tell you what, I'm gonna turn into an animal now. You probably don't want to be on me, because you're not gonna be able to sit on me when I turn into an animal.
I'm
Draken.
just-
I'm gonna leave the room when I do that. But I've learned my lesson now. I shouldn't be casting in here. But wait,
Good
why
point.
did that work? I was casting in here earlier. So were you, Ghost.
Do you remember when I told
And-
you that the summoning circle had been damaged by the fire?
Yeah.
All right,
It's,
well,
everything's going haywire. This is wild magic room now.
Oh, I love it. I'm gonna step outside and do what I was gonna do then.
Alright, so you step outside.
And I'm gonna turn.
Tavarius is still right. Oh, I pulled the wrong person. Sorry. Tavarius is still right there next to you. He's trying to hold your hand.
I pick him up and put him on my shoulders.
Alright. I'm here for you, buddy. I got you.
And then I'm gonna shape change. I am gonna polymorph myself, trying again, into a cat.
Into a cat.
Yes.
Okay. Just a little domestic house cat?
Yeah, just a cat. With like an orange ginger that oddly enough seems to have glitter even then.
A glittery ginger cat. Alright.
Yes.
I approve. Hey, some cats glisten in the sunlight. Have you ever seen Bengal cats? My word.
This is true.
I thought about what animal, and it just a cat's demeanor seems to fit me better.
All right.
Focus on me. I have the attention now. I'm done with you.
So, Draken is now a cat.
Flawless. Exactly what everyone always wanted.
And I am sorry that I do this to you and don't give you pre-warning.
Let's see. Do I have a ginger? This one will do.
If you'd like, I can get you a list of what animals I will turn into for various purposes.
Here we're gonna move Draken out of the way.
I found one! She's in the wall.
There. He's a chunky boy. But
Oh, yeah.
just for the time being. There you go. You should be able to move him around.
Unfortunately, I still have my screen focused on Draken, though.
There.
So, give... Yeah. I can't see.
Right here.
Nope, I still can see where Draken can see.
Oh. Sorry. I know what the problem is here. Anyway, what are you going to do? Let's start with that. I need to give you vision.
I am first going to try to smell the room. And, well, I'm going to go back into the summoning room. And I am trying to thank you. I am a chunky boy. You are correct. I am going to move back in here.
All right. Your senses are clouded by the smell of soot and ash and smoke.
Right. Well, I will go right in the doorway to try to eliminate as much while still getting random smells.
Okay. There's been a lot of traffic through here over the last few days, and that's mainly what you're getting. There's something underneath it all, but it's hard to say because of the weird smells underneath the ash and soot coming out of the summoning room you're already getting. There's been a lot of weird, unnatural stuff that has come out of that room over time. You get the sense.
Can I... Let's see. Trying to think. Meow, 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 meow.
Does anybody speak feline?
Not a chance.
What? Sylvan is the language of nature and beasts, so if that counts, then I mean...
I think for this one we would literally need speak with animals.
Yeah.
So yeah.
In response to meowing, Jimmy says, I don't even know why we came all the way over here. I thought the goal was to trace back from Alora.
Let's make an intelligence check to see if I understand.
I think you keep your mental stats, don't you?
No, I don't.
He's
No
a
way.
cat.
No
No.
way. You don't keep your mental stats with polymorph self?
Not anymore. Well, there is no polymorph self. There's just polymorph. Yeah. I get... The target's game statistics, including mental ability scores, are replaced by the statistics of the chosen being.
Should have chosen a poodle, man.
So your intelligence is a 3 right now.
Yes, it is. I don't have... Like, animals aren't smart compared to human. They are very intelligent, certain ones, but I could not summon, like, a dolphin would not have done me well.
Well, yeah, I mean, flopping around on the floor would have been a little awkward.
So, let's see how this goes.
Could have just also done like a crow or a raven. They are hella smart. All the corvids. Oh my god.
12 minus 4.
8.
What were you trying to figure out to understand what Jimmy was saying?
Yeah. Is there a warm spot on the floor? You know what? I'm just gonna like walk back in here and just curl up on the floor.
It's stinky in there.
Oh, no, I don't want to go stinky. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna be outside, curled up on the rug.
Tavarius will pick you up and start petting
Aww.
you. It's okay, buddy. I got
Can
you.
he? Isn't he
he
like
gets-
Isn't he a tiny imp picking up a small cat?
Yeah. It looks like a small child picking up a large house cat.
He gets 3, and then he gets hit with a claw. No. No more touching.
He'll chuckle. He is still an imp. But I will say, if you'd like, he'll carry you wherever the rest of you want to go.
Yes, let's try it that way.
I mean, I could make him do like an animal handling or something, but I figured I'd be nice.
All right, let's get over.
Come on, chunky boy.
Get over to the bodies.
Yes, please take me to the chunky boy. Take me to the bodies.
All right.
Oh, I have to move myself?
Here, I got you.
So tired, thank you. I thought he was carrying me.
He is. Just your icon's
I'm
bigger
lazy.
than his.
I don't want to move myself.
All right. So, what are you doing?
All right. Pop him down by Laura if you don't mind, Tavarius.
All right. He'll plop you down next to Alora. You're a kitty next to a couple corpses.
I'm gonna bat Alora for a little bit, just a couple times. And then I will try to see if I smell any.
All right. Perception at advantage.
So
Keen
D20,
smell.
2D20 is natural 20.
All right.
So a 23.
You do smell something not in this room. Something not human. Something terrifyingly familiar in your present form.
Big mouse. Big mouse. Nah, it's a werewolf.
You can't really put 2 and 2 together in your kitty form, though. It's just some...
I'd look.
Go ahead.
Can I try to follow it?
Yeah. If that's the kitty's goal, it's terrifying. You can.
Intelligence check. Oh,
No,
15.
Pretty good.
Not bad. Smart enough not to, or smart enough to?
I want to go bop it on its nose. I don't know what it is, but I want to go bop it.
It's getting mopped.
It's getting bopped.
All right. So the path actually leads back here.
Ooh. I'm gonna head back there then.
Jimmy's following along.
All right. It takes you behind the statue, and actually ends right there.
All right. I'm gonna with my claw, because I'm gonna bop it. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna bop it on the nose, and I'm gonna laugh.
Well, it's a giant statue of the dead summoner.
Oh, this I don't mean. It's the statue.
Yeah, the path leads behind the statue and then just abruptly ends. I mean, you put your claws up on it and try and sharpen your claws on the statue or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, if the smell's coming from the statue, I'm bopping the statue,
All right. So the cat starts bopping the statue.
and then I'm just gonna wander away.
All right. I'll take it. And then Jimmy begins to perform an investigation check back here.
Okay. All right.
So I am looking for signs of passage, or alternatively, touching things and being teleported, or openings, hatches, things.
Barely
I am
visible.
rubbing up.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm rubbing up on Tiberius and climbing up on him. Not bad.
I got you, buddy. Barely visible, etched very shallow into the back of the statue, is a ring of arcane-looking sigils, about the size of a hand.
Say, Alright. So I'm gonna do this, and he's reaching out towards it.
Bryn's going to be watching him this entire time. Closely.
Okay.
I touch the butt.
You touch the butt. A lot of butt touching. Jimmy poofs.
Another node in the network.
Poof.
Alright, I'm someplace.
Tavarius, may I have Draken?
Yeah, he'll hand you the chunky boy.
Alright, so Bryn, while holding Draken, is going to teleport herself.
Poof. Poof, poof.
Touch the butt. Touch the butt.
Tavarius follows suit.
I'll go too, I guess.
Alright, so a lot of butt touching. Which brings us. Oh, that is zoomed way in. Here. Yep. So you guys all come stumbling out of the armoire.
A lot of paths lead exits out of the armoire, but nothing we have seen leads into it. Gods damn it.
Feeling maybe we just don't know how to work it in the necessary way.
Perhaps.
Jimmy steps through the door, looks side to side.
You know, if Watts is bound, maybe we should check the armoire in Gambinelli's room.
Well, I mean, I'll try it again. It didn't go so well the first time.
It's worth a shot. Could have been opened in the meantime.
I examined the armoire once more.
Okay, what are you looking for?
Signs that it's been used in the meantime. Also, like, noises from inside as if Watts is bound and within it.
Okay. Give me an investigation.
Okay. It's pretty good.
Don't see anything. Nothing like stands out as shows signs of use or struggle or nothing like that.
I knock on the outside. I say, hey, hey. And I'll listen.
No answer.
No answer, but is there any noise as if somebody is struggling with it?
No.
Okay.
No. This is great. This is so great. Draken.
I'm still a cat.
I know.
And Bryn is holding Draken.
That's true. He's actually not in there. Bryn had him.
Oh,
Did you jump down from Bren? Is that why you're in there with Tavarius?
No, that's just where you put him.
Yeah, you didn't move him.
yeah. I'm just, and I'm Draken again. Well, let me rephrase that. My token is Draken again.
Yes.
I failed my intelligence. I'm still a cat.
Yes. Jeez, this is great. I guess as a cat, Draken,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to give me a wisdom save.
Okay.
Basically a d20 plus 1. Cat
Luck
has a,
points exist.
Cat has a 12.
Luck points
Oh.
exist.
I am going to use my luck point.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, no luck points. Let's see how that turns out. It's the
Do we have another? I don't know if we have more than one.
You got a momentum and setback at the beginning of the session. You have a reroll,
Is it worth it?
thanks to Mr. Midnight.
I think it would be very bad. Probably. Did he lose concentration when he probably had to lose concentration on his mental fortress, right?
Yeah, it's gone.
Oh yeah.
You get 2 bonus momentums, by the way.
Oh.
Let's try one and see what happens. If this one fails, then it's meant to fail. So 13.
13. Not quite enough. That's okay. That's perfectly alright. Okay. So, Draken the cat goes to sleep. Kind of not really noticeable. Alright, what are you guys doing?
I was gonna make one more attempt at the lock.
Pick it?
Yeah.
Okay. You may.
There.
This does not seem to give.
That's probably the best I got, he says, messing with his thieves' tools at the lock.
Britain's going to look down at Cat Draken in her arms.
He's
Hey.
he's sleeping.
I snap my fingers. Hey, Draken.
She's
Hey,
going to
Draken.
start stroking his head.
Here's a question for you. Have I lost concentration because I fell asleep? I feel like that I wouldn't be able to concentrate on my spells.
Is polymorph concentration?
It is.
Yes. Which is
Oh.
why I'm asking.
Based on what's happened to you, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
You're not necessarily asleep. You're cat asleep. Like you're very much aware. You're just really cozy. What's going on in your mind? Is an idea has been planted that you really like being a cat. You may want to stay this way as long as you possibly can. It's cozy. It's warm.
I'm okay with that decision.
It's only permanent in the case of a 9th level spell, just FYI. Out of character.
I know. I got an hour of being a cat, and I am gonna milk that for everything. People are carrying me. Feels right.
An hour is a very long time.
Yes, it is.
Alright. I must admit, recent illness has drained me somewhat of my stamina, so I'm flagging pretty hard here at the end of the session.
That's okay. Do you guys want to wrap here? It's up to you.
I'm
guys.
not going to be too much help going forward.
It's up to you guys.
I say that's fine. Yeah, I'm a cat. I can't really add much right now. I'm a sleepy cat.
I'm fine to keep going. I just, I'm just a bit at my wit's end here.
It's okay. It's a little bit of a stumper.
Yep, yep. We've stumbled into multiple traps, it feels like. Quite clever of us to do so.
There's a lot of clever going on.
Yeah.
You guys are doing better than you realize.
We trying, at least.
Yeah, no, you're doing better than you realize. But yeah, if you guys, do you guys want to call it? It sounds like it's a.
I would appreciate it. I'm going to have a hard time doing much in the last 20.
Any opposed?
Not really.
The size have it.
Ah.
I would be sad too, but you know.
That's all right. I mean, we're at like the 15-minute till mark anyway. It's not too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. We'll go ahead and call it for now. I have a feeling this particular chapter of the Sigil Confidential is maybe 1 or 2 more sessions.
I believe it. There's not too many people left.
Yeah, 1 or 2 more, depending on what you guys do. 1 or 2 more sessions will probably wrap this chapter. So not too long, because this was what, 4?
This is session 4 of this one, yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So 5 or 6. It's a good run for this particular little chapter, I'd say. Provided nobody TPKs or anything. God, I would feel terrible if that happened.
What a silly thing to have happen here, honestly.
It really would be after everything you guys have been through.
Killed a god, got locked in a house by an imp.
I mean,
Such is the way of things.
Such is the way.
I take 3 hit points and I turn out of a cat, so.
But yes, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. We always love having you. Please be sure to join us for the continuation of this in 2 weeks. Next week, of course, we return back to the world of Karen. Be there or be L7 square. We'll see you then, guys. Thank you.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good
Night.
night, everyone.